You're listening to the Blind Tiger Record Club podcast, where we champion music of all genres, and we believe vinyl is king.
Vinyl is king.
Welcome back to the Blind Tiger Record Club podcast. We are glad you're joining us again for another summer recap episode. Yesterday, we launched the recap for the month of June, and tonight we're going to be covering July releases. That's all four styles of the BTRC Records of the Month that released in July while the podcast was on break. So that's going to cover singer-songwriter, rock and alternative, jazz, soul, blues, and classics. We're also going to discuss our July Spotlight album and several new store editions that were added over the summer that we really just kind of want to make sure that you didn't miss. Just as a reminder, the Spotlight album is a new release that was not part of our club program, but nevertheless, it's still an album that we believe is a really strong release that's come out in the last 30 to 60 days. So we pick one release every month to showcase in our store. That's what we call the Spotlight. One of the great things about the Spotlight album is you don't have to be a member to get it. Anyone can shop for that just like they would any other vinyl in our store. And all the new store editions that we're going to be talking about tonight are available for non-members as well. We're also going to be covering our July headbangers. So these albums are metal and hard rock. They come from all the many of subgenres of the metal and hard rock style of music. So you'll know when we're about to talk about our metal album because we always play our headbanger intro song. Just in case that's not really your cup of tea and you want to skip ahead. But again, if you like harder music, then you're going to want to tune in as we cover that album. We've got one more episode of summer recap that we're going to do, and we'll be dropping that one here in the next few days. And that's going to be covering our August releases. So if you follow the podcast, you'll get a notification and know that the next episode we're going to do is this exact same show, but all August records. We're not going to be going as deep on any of these albums as we normally would on our club episodes. It really is just meant to be a recap so that we can cover so many albums in one show and just kind of let you know look, we were on break this summer, but there was still a lot of great music coming out. So tonight, as we just briefly cover some of these albums, it's our hope that something inspires you to dig in deeper on some of this and maybe even grab a few of these and add them to your collection. The Blind Tiger Record Club is a vinyl subscription club and retail store. You join the club by picking from one of four styles: singer-songwriter, rock and alternative, jazz, soul, and blues, or classics. Once you join, you will receive records in your selected style, or you can log on to your account and pick from another style. So you always have at least four options of great new and classic music to choose between. Most are limited edition or special variants. A club membership really is the best way to secure these titles each month. Listening to these Blind Tiger Record Club podcast episodes is a great way to decide which album you want to have shipped to you this month. We flip our store every month on the 26th, so you always have until the 25th of the month to secure your favorite title for that month. Now, once you are a member, you always have access to purchase previous albums that were in our Record of the Month program that we still have in stock. Most of those are locked for our members only. We also have thousands of titles in the record store, and you do not have to be a member to shop there. We have turntables, speakers, headphones, and all kinds of great BTRC merch ranging from t-shirts and slip mats to vinyl messenger bags and hats. We even have a brand new shirt for this show. Just go to blindtigerrecordclub.com and you can see our membership details. There are style descriptions and easy-to-read instructions for how the club works, and you can check out our amazing collection of vinyl and other items in the store. Well, September of every year, we have one of my favorite sales of the year. It's our annual Americana Honors and Awards sale. We have all the current nominees as well as past winners and nominees of the Americana Honors and Awards all marked down for the entire month of September. Artists like Brandi Carlile, Allison Russell, Robert Plant and Allison Krauss, Adia Victoria, Yola, Jason Isbell, Big Thief, The Warren Treaty, Sturgill Simpson, and many, many more. They're all marked down all month. This is really a time if you want to get some great music that's discounted, this is the time to do it. You can pick anything from this sale, and I promise you, they're all amazing records. If you have plans to come to Nashville this September, if you're here, September 13th through the 17th, the annual Americana Fest is happening, and many of these acts that we have in the cell, they're all going to be performing here. So you can get tickets at americanamusic.org. That's americanamusic.org, and you can find out who will be here and where they're playing. You can also catch the 2022 Americana Honors and Awards Wednesday, September 14th at the legendary Ryman Auditorium. If you get a ticket to the Americana Honors and Awards, it'll be easy for you to get passes to get in to see the awards show. So it's a great time to come to Nashville. The weather's great, and there really is. It's one of the times when there's some of the most vibrant, good music around town. September's a great time to be here. In the meantime, however, you should go ahead and order many of these artists on vinyl while they're on sale at blindtigerrecordclub.com. 85 Supply is the official show sponsor for the Blind Tiger Record Club podcast. 85 Supply is a full-service nationwide merch company. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, logistics, graphic design, and custom-branded promotional products. From printed t-shirts to the most custom products available, 85 Supply offers over 500,000 products to customize. 85 Supply is trusted by some of the largest brands in the nation, from organizations like MTV, LaCroix Sparkling Water, Spotify, and more. 85 Supply's reputation of quality precedes them. In fact, I have personally worked with 85 Supply for years. Almost all the merch products we carry at the Blind Tiger Record Club were designed, printed, and manufactured with 85 Supply. I tell them what I want, and they help bring the vision to light. Whether you're a touring rock band, an event, or organization, or a podcast and radio show like us, we highly recommend reaching out to our friends at 85 Supply for your next project that needs branded product. Go to 85supply.com or email info@85supply.com to get started. You can also get 5% off your first order. Simply mention Blind Tiger Record Club via email or over the phone with your rep. It's that simple. No coupon codes or anything to remember. Just tell them that Blind Tiger Record Club sent you and you get 5% off your entire first order. Once again, visit 85supply.com or email info@85supply.com to get started on your next merch product. As many of you know, the real purpose of this show is to help you discover new music. We consider it an honor to share this music with you all out there. And we really hope that this podcast can be an easy tool for you to be exposed to new releases or reissues of classics. So thank you for joining us tonight. Speaking of this podcast, hopefully you used our break to catch up on many of our episodes from season 5 that you may have missed. If you're new to the show, or you just haven't caught up on all the episodes this season, you should always remember that we have over 5 seasons of club episodes with club shows, artist interviews, as well as our end-of-year specials where we count down the best vinyl releases of each year. You can hear those on most all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Audible, and YouTube. Or you can stream directly from our website. It's really simple. Just go to blindtigerrecordclub.com and click on the podcast button, and you can stream everything right from our page. There are show descriptions for all the shows. There's a lot of great discussions there from the last 5 years on this podcast. So we would love nothing more than for all of you to check out those episodes and share these shows with your friends. You can find your favorite artist if that's what you want to listen to and share that one. If you do enjoy this show and discovering new music with us every week, then please hit the like button, leave reviews and comments. Just anything you can do to help us grow the show is greatly appreciated. All right. Once again, we got another big show in front of us, so let's get spinning. Let's drop the needle and take a quick listen to the Blind Tiger Record Club Season 5 Part 2 opener, the summer recap for July 2022.
We're in raspberry velvet and the rabbits in the hole where the apple tree fell over 2 years ago. Man, you could never stop it, it was always gonna go. When you're hiding in the cotton, get a tickle in your soul. And I could really go for a little bit of rock and roll. Yeah, I could really go for a little bit of rock and roll. And let's go looking in the sugar cane and wander around the country in the pouring rain. Win a couple dollars, lose a couple games, and walk tall laughing in the sugar cane. Then take a trip on a golden airplane. Yeah, Tell me what your heart's been through. Tell me where you're going to. Tell me all the things you'd like to do, but you can't, 'cause you're scared that you're going to hell. Feels alright, but you can't really tell. All of that cigarette ash is good and well. It's good and well.
On June 24th, Caamp released Lavender Days on Mom and Pop Records. This album was produced by Brad Cook, whom we have spoken about many times on the show over the last couple of years. He's produced artists like Waxahachie, Bon Iver, Big Red Machine, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, and many more. A lot of those albums from those artists I just mentioned have actually been in our program on the show. Brad, it appears, used his relationship in a really cool way on this album. Both Nathaniel Rateliff and Waxahachie's Katie Crutchfield, they pop in and out on this album, adding harmonies to what's already an incredible harmony kind of landscape that you already expect from Caamp. The guest artists are never a featured artist. They're just kind of part of the vocal mix of harmony that gets to your ears in the final production of these songs. I think that says a lot about Cook and both Rateliff and Crutchfield, that they would lend their voice in such a subtle way. Nobody's really using anybody's names to drive song discovery. It's just a bunch of incredible vocalists sharing their talent. It was also produced by mix engineer Beatriz Artola, and he's worked with artists like Fleet Foxes, Ryan Adams, Sharon Von Eaton, several others. And the band's even credited as doing some of the production on this as well. So I really think this was a very collaborative work for Caamp and for Cook in particular. This is the band's fourth studio album, and it delivered the band's third #1 single. The band's 2019 release, By and By, saw the band reach #1 on Billboard's AAA chart with the song Peach Fuzz. They followed that up over COVID with a non-album single titled Officer of Love. That went #1 on the same chart in 2020. Lavender Days now returns the band to the AAA #1 spot for the third time, and this time they do it with the song Believe. The band has been touring this album very heavy in the US and Canada between April and September. They've had some amazing support acts like the Heartless Bastards. Jade Bird was out with them for a few dates. Houndmouth, Future Birds, Trampled by Turtles. In addition to their headline dates, the band spent May and June supporting the Lumineers and actually just did one more date with them at Wrigley Field in Chicago. I just saw the Lumineers here in Nashville with support act James Bay. Both the acts were great, but the Lumineers have just turned into one of the best live acts around. I'm sure Caamp was more than a little excited to support that Wrigley date at the end of their tour. We had this in a limited edition, pink and purple vinyl. We have had other Caamp albums in the store in the past, but they're all out of print now and they're really hard to get. So I imagine this one will be the same. So this is definitely one you're going to want to grab while we got it. On May 13th, the Black Keys released the band's album Dropout Boogie on None Such Records. As they've done really for their entire career, the Black Keys, which is made up of Dan Auerbach and Patrick Carney, they wrote all the material for the new album in the studio. You know, this album captures a number of first takes that really, if you've been following the Black Keys for a while, it'll remind you of much of the work that they put out in the early part of their career. After hashing out those initial ideas at Auerbach's Easy Eye studio here in Nashville, the duo welcomed several new collaborators into the studio. Billy F. Gibbons from ZZ Top joined them. They had singer-songwriter Greg Cartwright and record producer and songwriter Angelo Petraglia. He's best known for his work with Kings of Leon, but all three of them were invited into the studio to actually complete the work on this album. It's the first time that the Black Keys have brought in collaborators this early in the process. The song that we played at the opening, as a matter of fact, is a song called Good Love, and that featured Billy F. Gibbons from ZZ Top. You know, this is just really a case of them putting together this amazing studio band and then inviting them into the collaboration process and recording as much of it as live as possible in the studio. The single off this album went number 18 on the Hot Rock and Alternative charts. It was number 3 on Mainstream Rock. It spent 2 weeks at number 1 on Alternative and several weeks at number 1 on Rock and Alternative Airplay chart as well. To top things off, it spent 4 weeks at number 1 on AAA charts. The massively successful single I'm referencing is a song called Wild Child.
Come close now, let me tell you a lie. Wild child, you got me running through the turnstile. Baby girl, we better make it worthwhile. You're gonna get my love today. You are a sweet dream with a tender heart and a beautiful smile, but things aren't what they seem. So I'll let you go and dream for a while. Wild child, you got me coming out of exile. Baby girl, you know I'm liking your style. You're gonna get my love today.
Dropout Boogie debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200, making it the band's 7th album to peak in the top 10 of the Billboard 200. This is the band's 11th studio album since they debuted in 2002. It's also the band's third project in as many years, so they've really been releasing a lot of music over the last few years, and most of it has been pretty heavy in the blues style. Point in case, the 2021 release Delta Cream was nominated for a Grammy this year for Best Contemporary Blues Album. We had this in a limited edition white vinyl for our members. We also have the band's hugely successful album El Camino in a limited edition 3 LP set. We've carried a lot of Black Keys albums over the years, and they sell out constantly, and then they're out of print. So again, grab this album while we have them. Once these are gone, I can't even order anymore.
This time we're really through, but I know this good thing I got to follow you. Please remember when you wonder what was true, that your instinct for conflict got you looking like a fool.
But I gave you all I had, and all the good and bad, but you just couldn't see what a good man means.
I couldn't even love you better, 'cause what we had together in there forever. Listen, baby, how could anybody love you better? Better than me, that's just something I'll never see. No, no, no. Now here you come again acting like you're mine.
On May 13th, the Monophonics released Sage Motel on one of our favorite labels, Coal Mine Records. We had the band's 2020 release, It's Only Us, in our club program in that year. This is a bit of a concept album. The press release on the album stated that Monophonics cordially invites you to attend the grand reopening of the once thriving, once vibrant establishment, the legendary Sage Motel. A place where folks experience the highs and lows of human existence, a place where big dreams and broken hearts live, where people arrive without ever knowing how they got there. It's where folks find themselves at a crossroad in life. So join us as we examine where the stories are told and experiences unfold, and sink into a soft pillow of soulful psychedelia down at the Sage Motel. So that's really the way that they kind of preface this album, and everything from their videos to the album artwork to all of the songs, they all tie in to kind of tell these stories. Monophonics is one of my favorite soul revivalist groups to come out in the last 5 years. Along with the label mates Duran Jones and the Indications, Australia's Tedeschi Brothers, and Texas band the Black Pumas, the Monophonics has been, in my opinion, one of the best. This is in no small part to frontman and band leader Kelly Finnegan. His solo work shows how skilled he really is at capturing the essence of classic soul and wrapping new material in really authentic sounding retro soul and funk. The song we play at the opening is titled Love You Better. The title track, Sage Motel, further exemplifies just how authentic this band is and how good they are at delivering this sound. This band started out as a soul revival group in San Francisco and mainly played locally or up the West Coast. Under the leadership of Kelly Finnegan, this band has really developed into one of the best bands in the country in the revivalist movement. We had this in a limited edition, orange and black splatter vinyl for our members. It's a really cool record. It looks outstanding. We also have It's Only Us in standard black vinyl. And we also have this incredible Christmas album. I know it's not quite Christmas time yet, but we're not that far away. But we have an incredible Christmas album by Kelly Finnegan titled A Joyful Sound. It's in spruce green vinyl, and it was inspired by the amazing classic by Phil Spector, A Christmas Gift for You. If you're familiar with that album, you know it's one of the greatest Christmas, especially in the soul category, albums of all time. So whether it's his solo work or you grab either of the two Monophonics albums, I'm telling you, this band is not one to miss.
It is time for you to stop all of your sobbing. Yes, it's time for you to stop all of your sobbing. Oh, there's one thing you gotta do to make me still want you. Gotta stop sobbing now, stop sobbing now. Yeah, stop it, stop, stop it, stop. It is time for you to laugh instead of crying. Yes, it's time for you to laugh, so keep on trying. Oh, there's one thing you gotta do to make me still want you. Gotta stop sobbing now, gotta stop sobbing now. Yeah, stop it, stop, stop it, stop. Each little tear that falls from your eye makes me want to take you in my arms and tell you to stop all your sobbing.
On December 27th, 1979, the Pretenders released a self-titled debut album that some critics have come to view as the greatest debut album in music. The album was on Sire Records, and on April 22nd, Rhino Records reissued the 2018 remastered version of this epic album. The album features Chrissie Hynde on vocals and guitar, James Honeyman Scott on guitar, Pete Farndon on bass, and Martin Chambers on the drums. You know, the album became one of the most defining albums in the 1980s, and it's quintessential new wave. So much of the new wave movement that followed at radio and MTV were a direct result of bands like the Cars and the Pretenders. Famed producer Nick Lau produced the song and the first single, Stop Your Sobbin', that we played at the opening of this segment. That was a cover of a song by the Kinks. And as the story goes, he decided not to work on the rest of the album because he thought the band wasn't going anywhere. So producer Chris Thomas stepped in to finish the album. Thomas had worked with bands like the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Roxy Music, Badfinger, Elton John, the Sex Pistols, and many other bands throughout the 70s. Stop Your Sobbing did go top 40 in the UK. The follow-up single was a song called Kid, and it also went top 40 in the UK. It was the band's third single, however, that really broke the band. Brass in Pocket went number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was number 13 on Cashbox, and it was number 1 on the UK's OCC. The music video was the 7th video ever aired on MTV after its launch in August 1st of 1981. This is still one of the band's biggest hits, and it's a classic standard, Brass in Pocket.
Got brass in pocket, gunpowder, I'm gonna use it. Intention of feeling mental, gonna make you notice. Got motion, restrained emotion. I've been diving, detour leaning, no reason. Just seems so pleasing. Gonna make you notice.
You know, the album peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200, and it was number 1 on the OCC. In 1989, Rolling Stone ranked the album number 20 on the best albums of the 1980s. It was also number 52 on VH1's all-time best list, and it was number 155 on the 2003 version of the Rolling Stones 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. It actually moved up to number 152 on the 2020 revision of that list by Rolling Stone. We have this album as the 40th anniversary remaster in 180-gram audiophile vinyl. We also have Pretenders 2, an album that they put out in 1981, as the 40th anniversary edition remaster. It also is in 180-gram vinyl. So grab your copy today before they're gone. These are going to be tough to get down the road. On July 1st, multi-platinum rock band Shinedown released the band's 7th album titled Planet Zero on Atlantic Records. This was the band's first album since 2018's Attention Attention. The lead single was a title track that we just played, and it was released in January. It went number 28 on Hot Rock and Alternative Songs, number 36 on Alternative, and it went number 1 on Mainstream Rock, where it sat on top for 8 weeks. The album was produced by Shinedown bassist Eric Bass. Personally, I've never been a fan of Shinedown. I'm a tough sell on this category of rock bands, primarily because I don't always hear a lot of diversity in the music. In my humble opinion, many post-grunge hard rock bands just sound like derivatives of each other. I now think that I wasn't paying enough attention to this band. This album really caught me off guard. It's richly diverse in style and songcraft. There's not a weak spot on this album. You need proof? Well, the band's second single was a track called Daylight. It was nothing like I've heard from Shinedown. I kept looking at the screen when I was playing it to make sure that I was actually hitting the correct track when I was previewing this album. The song went number 27 on Alternative. It was number 37 on Adult Pop. It was number 4 on Rock and Alternative. And again, it was number 1 on Mainstream Rock, where it stayed for 2 weeks. I think this could have charted at AAA as well if they had have chosen to work that format. It's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs off this album. More importantly, it really showcases the musical range and depth of this entire album. This is Daylight.
I was diagnosed with a fear of getting too close. Had to tell the ones I love I was on the ropes. I'm not the only one whose life's been pulled apart. Spending 1 year and 3 months in the dark. So here we are, all dressed to kill. Where should we go? Into the wild again to face the great unknown. And have the midnight conversations you and I postpone. You saved my life, not once but twice. You keep me free from falling. saved my life, make it all alright. When I don't feel like talking, you make sure I always see the daylight. It's amazing what the hard times can reveal, like who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real. So take me on, I'll take the wheel, and we can both outrun the past. We will always live forever if we don't look back. You saved my life, not once but twice. You keep me free from falling. You saved my life, make it all alright. When I don't feel like talking, you make sure I always see the daylight.
The album went number one on top rock, top hard rock, and top alternative album sales charts. It also went number one on the top album sales charts, which is a non-genre chart. This was the first time that had happened for Shinedown, so it's a very successful record for them so far. It was number 5 on the Billboard 200. It was number 4 on the OCC. If you're a Shinedown fan, then there's so much to love about this record. But if you're like me and maybe you haven't listened to Shinedown that much, I highly suggest you give this album a spin. The album is already back ordered, but we have some stock left. Planet Zero comes in a double vinyl. We also have Attention in a double vinyl. And we have Threat to Survive in a limited clear red vinyl. We have several other Shinedown albums as well. Most of them are in limited edition double color variants. So most of these I cannot get. Once they're gone, they really are gone. So you're going to want to head to blindtackerrecordclub.com and grab your copy today. Some other solid releases from June and July that you may want to check out include Foal's latest, Life Is Yours. Cold War Kids released New Age Norms 2. We had New Age Norms 1, or just I guess it was just called New Age Norms in our program when it came out. I believe they have plans to release 3 albums in this series. Fleet Foxes have a new release titled A Very Lonely Solstice. James Bay, who I just saw this past week at the Bridgestone Arena, and he was very good. He has his latest titled Leap. Mount Joy, who has been in the Record of the Month program as well, they just released an album called Orange Blood. And we released a new collector series from She/Him called Volumes. It has volumes 1, 2, and 3 all bundled together. It's a great price. And so that's the album titles is volumes 1 and volume 2 and volume 3. One of the best surprises for me in July was the debut release of a band called the Linda Lindas and their album titled Growing Up. This got me just like Emil and the Sniffers did last year. This is just riot girl punk rock power pop at its best. The band is on Epitaph Records, and if you like this track titled Oh, trust me when I tell you that you should listen to this album. The pop element is really strong. I would really categorize this band as power pop. If you like White Reaper or even bands like Weezer, well, this is your female counterpart. This is a song, Oh. So check out all of those at blindtigerrecordclub.com. We have those albums plus many more. Just click on New Store Editions at the storefront and shop to your heart's delight.
Warning, overload. Warning, overload. Warning, overload. Warning.
On May 6th, We Came as Romans released Cold Like War on Sharp Tone Records via Nuclear Blast America. You know, this is the fifth studio album by the metalcore band from Michigan. It was originally released in 2017, so this is a reissue on vinyl. Cold Like War is considered a milestone album for We Came as Romans. It was a huge leap forward for the band in both production, range, and songwriting. The album did peak at number 61 on the Billboard 200. I think a great track to showcase this album is a song called Learning to Survive.
Always trusted too much, it was all I had. I was blind to the darkness and everyone I know. Whoa. Always looked for the good, all the best intent. After years that have passed, I see all the signs I missed. Whoa. And it feels like a prison I'm living in. Did I earn all the pain and the consequence? I'm too old to acquit, too young to convict. The weight of my pride caving in. I can feel them watching me while I'm learning to survive. Staring at my broken will that I'm too tired to hide. So many demons I can't escape, burning my bridges to light the way. I can feel them watching me, but I'll make it out alive. I'm learning to survive.
We had this for our Headbanger members in a limited edition white vinyl. In case you guys are wondering about the Headbangers membership, we do one album a month that we curate specifically for people that are fans of metal and all metal subgenres. And it is a month-to-month membership, so you can start and stop at any time. But having a membership is literally the best way for you to lock in your copies of these. So we announce on our normal flip day, when we announce all the new albums for our regular club on the 26th of each month. And once you sign up, when we announce the album, your copy is already secured and reserved. So check out the Headbangers Club. If you like hard music, then just check out some of the ones we've put out over the last year and see if you think this club's a good fit for you. Well, that wraps up our show for tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion of the Blind Tiger Record Club Season 5 Part 2 opener, our summer recap for July of 2022. If you want to find out more about any of these albums that we've discussed tonight, head to blindtigerrecordclub.com. You can find out how to get these albums as well as how to become a member and get vinyl like this delivered right to your door every month. You can also shop in our record store where we have thousands of titles available. We also have tapes, accessories, turntables, and of course, you can't miss out on all of our BTRC merch. We have great t-shirt designs in there. We have several of them. We even have one for this podcast. Don't forget about our annual Americana Honors and Awards sale. We have all the current nominees as well as past winners and nominees for the Americana's Honors and Awards, all marked down for the entire month of September. Make sure you check out our sponsor, 85 Supply. They can help you with everything from printed t-shirts to custom products. You can get all your merchandise service needs met with one company from design to print. Listeners of this show get 5% off your first order. Simply mention Blind Tiger Record Club via email or over the phone with your rep. The whole process is so simple. Just go to 85supply.com or email info@85supply.com for more information. Don't forget, we have one more recap episode that's going to be coming up in the next few days. We're going to be discussing August and the many great titles that released that month that were in our club and some of the new albums that we carried in the store that month. So these recap episodes are really covering all of the albums from the summer that we would have told you about each month if we were not on hiatus. Also coming up next week, we really officially launched the second part of Season 5. It officially will be underway as we welcome back my co-host Kevin Lee to discuss our September Singer-Songwriter Record of the Month, which is Amanda Shires and her album, Take It Like a Man. Don't forget about all of our past seasons and shows at the Blind Tiger Record Club podcast. It's available on all major platforms, including Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, and many others. You can also go to blindtigerrecordclub.com, click on the podcast link to stream directly from our website. You can also listen to recasts of radio shows that aired on Lightning 100, as well as our artist interviews, our annual end-of-year shows. Many of our club episodes, they're all there for 5 seasons, so just go to your favorite podcast platform and listen today. Even if you're not a member of the Blind Tiger Record Club, the podcast is a great way to discover new music. So smash those like buttons, leave reviews and comments, tell your friends about the show. You can stay up to date on all that we're doing by signing up to our email list at our website. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Most importantly, keep coming back. You really do support this show just by listening. I'm David Williams, and on behalf of all of us here at the Blind Tiger Record Club, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep the wax spinning.